Yeah, sorry if it looks orange on here. Yeah, I hate this iPhone camera so much. I really do want to get a capture device. Like, it's not like I purposely give low quality videos or anything. I mean, I really can't help it right now because I don't have the money. Okay? But anyways, once this thing, it always does this every time. It's basically scanning my USB device and inside the actual Ouya itself. So it doesn't take too long. So actually, it might. Okay, it ended right after I paused it. Well, anyways, so the current UI looks like it's subject to change. It's still an updating console. It looks a lot better than what it did when it first launched, though. Well, as you can see, there's 4 things you can obviously see. There's play, discover, make, and manage. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. And well, let's see what play is, shall we? It's basically where you can actually, where your games actually go when you download them. So yeah. See, there's recent games, there's my favorites, and then there's purchased, recent downloads, and A to Z. Yeah. So, let's see the next one. Shall we see Discover? Well, Discover is basically, it's the equivalent of basically Xbox Live, like the game store, basically, or app store. You know, it's basically where you can buy apps and games. Mainly games. There's a few apps on here. But they have the trending now, new releases, free games of the week, there's genres, newly updated, watch and listen, our founders, only on Ouya, and alphas and betas. Well, anyways, in order to get games on here, though, like before you can really even use the console, basically, like you'll turn it on when you first buy it, and it'll be like, please. Like you'll have to make an Ouya account, which is not hard at all. But then you have to have a type of payment option, like a credit card, debit card, which I don't do, or a prepaid card, which you can find them at like GameStop or anything, like for 10 or 25 points, or you can find them on Ouya.com. And yeah, it's kind of weird that they do that. They should at least let you use the console before you even do that. I mean, it's just kind of odd. Not as if you couldn't connect to the internet or something. That'd be kind of weird. Then you wouldn't be able to use the console. So yeah. Okay, let's see what make is. Well, do I even need to explain? Basically, make is where devs go. I mean, you have your builds, which is basically what you're developing, and your software, which I guess is what you've completed or just stuff you're using. Like they give you the browser, so it's kind of odd that it's right there. But anyways. And then manage is basically your settings, and most of these things are pretty obvious, like your account, your controllers, network, update notes, notifications, and system. But once they go to system, and then from there, you can see there's even more: console info, language, system updates, storage, development, advanced, and factory resets. And yeah, anyways, most of these things are probably pretty obvious. Again. Console info, language, system updates, storage. Well, I already said that, didn't I? Sorry, it's been a little while. But anyways, some of these will actually bring you to the actual Android screen. You see this? It brings you to like an Android-like screen. If you hit advanced, would bring you to this. So like you can it's nearly the exact same thing. Like for crying out loud, just the exact same stuff, except for I don't think there's there's not the App Store. So, anyways, let's see some gameplay, shall we? Well, this is Shadow Gun. It's kind of like Gears of War, but I'm basically showing you what the Ouya can do in 3D. I don't know if this is pushing it to the limits. I'm not a developer, but it looks pretty good. I forgot the controls too. Okay, you get it. Okay. There's gonna be a bunch of retro games on the Ouya also. There's a bunch of them. That's basically what you're gonna find on here. So, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, you basically get the point. And the Ouya also has its fair share of indie games, too. No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but that's what you're mainly going to find. Like, it'll do, which is this game right here. You're not going to see a lot of third-party games, like I said. The support's just not there, so, yeah. So, what do I think about the Ouya? Or how do I think about it? What do I think about it, basically? Well, I think it's actually a pretty good console. I mean, I'm not going to say it's up there with the Dreamcast or anything, but it's a pretty good system. Oh, sorry. I accidentally touched the camera. I checked and there's about like 879 games and counting. So, yeah, that's a lot of games. Now I want to go over some pros and cons. It's only $99. For $99, there's really no excuse. I mean, if you want to save it, then I guess. But if you just want to try something new, then here you go. So, yeah, $99. Like I said before, there's lots of games on here. More than the Xbox One and PS4 have combined. It's because it's mainly indie games. And I'll get into that in a minute. It's a very small, like I said, it's very small. Like, a thing fits in my hand. It's very lightweight, like I said. Yeah, so it doesn't have any problems fitting in any size living room or anything really. You can fit it. I fit it right next to my Xbox One over there. You can see it right there. It fits right next to it with like no problems. So, yeah, that's another pro. It's very easy to develop for because it's running Android and the architecture, the ARM, it's very easy to program for, and it's very easy to become a developer for the Ouya. Like, you basically have to go into a site like ouya.tv /development and basically have to like sign a license or something like that. Much easier than what most consoles probably do. Just that's true. It's a very easy to mod system. They basically encourage it, I guess. They want you to be creative with the thing. I mean, that's what Android is about. That's what like PCs are about. That's like anything open sourcing, pretty much. You know, PCs aren't Linuxes, but yeah, it's very easy to mod. Like, you make case mods or whatever you want to do with it. I'm sure the only thing they don't want you to do is just mod the UI and make it run Android again. You could do that if you wanted to, but that'd ruin the whole point of Ouya. The UI is pretty easy to get used to. Like, I said all these things are pretty obvious, like system updates and everything. It's obvious. Unless you've never been on the internet or if you've been hiding under a rock for 20 years, you should have no problems with this. So, that's another pro. It has expandable storage. Now, it didn't have, but probably at the beginning of this year, I think it had like the Abominable Snowman update or something. It was the one after that, and it lets you have expandable memory. So basically, you can have like a 2 terabyte size hard drive if you want to. So that's another pro. It has quite a few entertainment apps. I mean, I'm not going to say it has as much as, let's say, the Xbox 360 or any little set-top box thing or a little, like, let's say like the Roku or you know, those ones that are specifically made for that and not made for gaming like this thing is. But you're still going to find quite a few, like Crackle and YouTube and everything. So it's got quite a few. That's another pro. Ha. The community is small, and now you're like, what? That's pretty bad. But the good thing is, though, that community is also very helpful. It's just a very helpful community, and because of how small the community is, Ouya doesn't have as much trouble to worry about having to respond and update stuff. It has less people to worry about. So that's another pro. Now here are the cons, and we've got a little bit more cons. It's still got the problems, but it's mainly hardware issues, I guess. Let's get started. There's not that many. There's hardly any third-party support. Like I said, not enough people are buying this thing. So basically, all you're gonna find mainly is indie games. There's a few third-party games. Like you're gonna find a few Sega games. I think about 2. Like you'll find Final Fantasy, and there's probably a few others, but it's mainly indie. Like 98% indie. So that's a con. Developers do not make enough money on this thing because this thing is geared more towards casual gamers, which I'll get to that later. But casual gamers tend to not buy full games as much, so you're not really, even the most successful game on the Ouya, which is like Towerfall, they only made like $7,000 on it. They didn't really make that much money, so they went to the PS4 and they're making way more money now. So that's probably why a lot of people avoid the Ouya. From what I've heard, I know it's this model definitely, but I don't know about the later models, but this thing has terrible Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connections. Like, I have a really strong router, and like, I'm literally not even that far away from it. I think, not even, I only have to walk like maybe 20 steps and I'm already there. It's like right in my it's right by my living room. So, it says it's weak. Like, all my other consoles have no problems whatsoever. I could put it right next, it's a well-known fact about it. You can put this thing right next to your router and it'll still say it's weak. It's something to do with the hardware. It's just how bad it is. And the Bluetooth connection, like I said, I don't know if it's the controller. I'm sure it's not, because the controller I've heard works fine on anything else. But basically, you'll have lag input, like input lag. So basically, you can turn left and it won't do anything, and then like a second later, it'll finally do it. So basically, it'll mess you up like on racing games or anything else. So that's a really bad con right there. This is kind of a half con, because it's only a problem if you don't have a hub. But basically, it only has one USB port. I guess that's to keep it small, but if you have a USB hub, you'll have no problems with expanding it. So it's kind of a con. If you want the most powerful device, like Android device or anything on the market, this definitely is not for you. I'm not going to say this thing is very weak either. It's it was designed in 2012, so you got to give it a chance. But it's not weak, but it's not the Nvidia Shield either, or a PC, definitely not. But it does the trick. You really can't find this thing at retailers. There's like 2 or 3 of ours. I know Target, and then there's GameStop, and then you can go on the Ouya.tv site. And also it's pretty hard to find them in there too. I mean, well, actually no, it's not really hard to find them in there. But once you do find them, there's probably a few of them. They're just not like I said, it's not that popular. The bad launch really just hurt it. So yeah, like I said, the heat dissipation on this thing is terrible. Well, I'm not gonna say terrible because it's an ARM-based motherboard, so it doesn't have to be as cool as like an Xbox One or anything. But still, the metal casing gets hot. Well, it's not really metal. Well, I'm not sure. It's like plasticky metal. But anyways, yeah. There really isn't an online multiplayer servers anyway, like Xbox Live or PSN. I mean, you have the online store, and you basically have to have your own server, basically. There's really nothing for that, so that's another con. And finally, the controller could be better. Now, this one's easy because you could basically get another controller. But, it's an okay controller, like I said. I'm not going to go into much detail with it. So should you buy a Ouya? Well, it all depends on your preference of gaming. If you're a casual gamer, and you don't have a tablet or anything like that already, and, well, you don't really have anything, I guess you could buy it. But if you're a hardcore gamer, or just a hardcore gamer that doesn't like anything but like consoles or PCs, no, not really, but it's kind of hard to explain because it's basically in a market of its own, and the market itself doesn't tend to do well, because there's already tablets and everything. So it's kind of hard to explain. I liked it. I bought it, so give it a try, I guess, but that's just me, so yeah. Like I said, there's a few problems with it, but overall it's a pretty enjoyable console. Just if people would buy it, there'd be more developers, and that in turn would solve it. I mean, the problems. So it's all a matter of you just give this thing a try. If you don't want it, take it back. Simple as that. I mean, $99 is not that much for that. It might be for some people, but for others, $99 is nothing. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the end of my video. As always, I'll always try to upload more videos when I get the time. I'm actually going on vacation in a few days, so you won't, for like 3 days, you won't see me uploading. Probably wouldn't upload anything anyways. And always, you can feel free to rate, or just like or dislike if you don't know, comment, or subscribe. And you can find me on, if you go onto my channel and click the About, or the info basically, you can find the links to my Twitter and my Google+. So I'm not going to have to, I don't put them in the descriptions anymore, just check that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.